This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
As educators, we are in this business for students, and we have to become more student-centric. And if we don't, then we're not really doing the job that we need to do.
I don't care what they do, just be the best at it and do something. There's a job out there for each and every one of them.
My message to them wants to be just be and it'll happen. Life will happen, but you have to take steps to ensure your success first, and then those other things are outside and they'll fall into place.
I had a student come in my room today, and nobody in their family had ever graduated from high school, and this person's going to graduate a whole year early from high school, which is amazing. And that is because they've been able to take their education into their own hands.
This program is a part of American Graduate. Let's make it happen, a public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Now, this community is very unique in that we are trying from every vantage point through our chamber to build up. And we have our school system working together from K through 12, and then higher ed and industry, all sitting at the same table wanting what's best for this community.
So problems that I see for middle school students that are coming into high school setting is really understanding what it takes to be a good student, and some family background problems that they might have, and really breaking free of that and really identifying what they want to do in their future.
If you think about it, if you ask any school counselor, really one of the hardest parts of counseling is dealing with parents. Because when you get to high school is when you typically think about all these parents that are really pushing their kids, and they want their kids to take all these honors classes, and they really are pushing them just as far as they're about to pop, but the parents want to push and push. And now, because of how high school is, it's gone back into the middle schools. And now when they start middle school, they have to get in the right classes to do this so that they can do that in high school. And so all of a sudden you have the same parents that are there in middle school pushing and doing the same thing. And imagine what the students that don't have the parents there to do that for them. They've got to go through the same hurdles and meet the same challenges, but they don't have anybody holding their hand. They don't have anybody showing up to talk to the counselors to see what classes. They just kind of fall under the radar, and that really presents some new obstacles for kids.
You know, what does their future hold for them? Is it the certificate side? Do we need to get them in a situation where they're able to gain certificates as they go through high school and as they gain? And when we do, we can gauge their interest as they go through high school and really lead them into a career that they would want to go into. So I think the problem is really getting them to the understanding that they're very near their future. You know, in whatever situation or whatever they choose to do, their success is going to rely on what they do in high school. And I think in the past, it didn't necessarily rely on that as much. Kids could get out of high school with little or no degree, get into the job world, and really survive, learn a job or a skill that was taught to them along the way, and then they could make it work with that and make ends meet. Nowadays, a high school education is very, very important to the success of students, and we have stats to prove that. You know, literacy and reading as you come up the K-12 ladder makes a huge difference in success as you get into high school and then on into college. And so identifying those things along the way and really personalizing the education for the students as they climb the K-12 ladder becomes more and more important as time goes on.
Reading on grade level in middle school and high school is so important. If kids come to those grade levels not reading on grade level, they don't have as many opportunities as other children who do read on grade level would have. 85% of the content is delivered through print, which makes it really difficult for those kids that can't access that. And it just gets them further behind in their reading.
As educators, we are in this business for students, and we have to become more student-centric. And if we don't, then we're not really doing the job that we need to do. We need to learn more about the whole student, you know, what they have to deal with when they go home is part of what's going to affect them in their daily life, including school.
We need for them to trust some adult in the building, whether it be a counselor, a teacher, coach, enough to report it and to feel comfortable enough to seek help. And when they do, the adult has to address it in some way, or that trust is lost and the bullying will continue, the bad feelings will continue, you know, and that results in truancy issues. It results in low academic scores because you're fearful, you're sad, you're depressed because your peers are not accepting of you.
Kids come in and tell me some things that are just unimaginable to think to have to face as a student. You know, that both parents are in prison. I went home yesterday and nobody was there to pick me up at the bus. Why? They all got picked up by the police yesterday while I was at school. What do you tell to a student that comes in with that?
People just would not believe some of the situations that we have, and a good example would be a student comes into my math class, and this is actually something that happened. A student comes into a math class and the teacher says, well, where's your homework from last night? And the kid says, well, you know, I wasn't able to do it. The question there for us in education is, does the teacher dig a little bit deeper to find out why? So if they do, maybe the teacher will realize that both parents are working to try and make ends meet for the family, and that student may have had to watch 2 or 3 siblings that night and really honestly couldn't get around to their homework. So as a teacher in late middle school or high school, what do we do to make sure we know the student understands the standards that we're trying to get across to them, but at the same time give them the ability to get that work done?
There is peer pressure and maybe even some bullying that goes along with the questioning who you are, because you feel pressured to fit in one group as opposed to another, or you are fearful that you will be bullied if you follow a path where you feel like you're being led, you feel like you'll be made fun of, and things like that. So I do feel like that's very prevalent.
Internet bullying is a big problem. It is a big problem. That wasn't around at the time in the 80s. It wasn't around. Back then, you had bullies, but you didn't hear of bullies or bullying. You didn't hear of suicides as a result of a bullying situation either. Now, we do at the police department have a bullying program that we use. We use GREAT, which is an anti-violence and a bullying program.
I know there is a lot of peer pressure for the children too, and we don't ever question that. We just assume that they're going to school, they're fine. And there is a lot of hormones and changes that are going on, and they don't know whether they're coming or going, and they just want to be.
I was presented with a cutter, and that's just a student who self-harms, who harms himself through taking maybe a safety pin or a razor blade or tack and physically cutting their arms, legs. And their reasoning is typically because the pain on that outside makes them not think about the pain that they're feeling on the inside.
Mostly in the older grades, it is very difficult because parents are certain that they took their child to school, but they don't know the child is not in school. The children leave and mom and dad do not know how to face that. How do I ask my child how his day went? How do I help him and know if there is homework, or talk to the counselor or anything like that? So they get lost, and there is a big bridge to cross there.
And we talk about what they can do to make it better. We talk about what they can't control. That's a big thing they have to come to understand, is a lot of students, my students, are in situations they can't control, they can't do anything about, and they have to realize what they can't do anything about and put that stuff aside and look at what they can control.
In my little area, I know they leave my office and they walk back out into that sea of 2,400 kids where everybody's questioning and where do I fit, and you know, just in general, that whole period in your life.
In today's K-12 education, personalizing the learning is really what is first and foremost on the minds of teachers. How we get there is really the question. We know that technology is going to play a huge role in a personalization of education for each individual student.
Their first teacher, their homeroom, before math, before science, is how is your day? Did you sleep good? Did you do anything important last night? And have that, instead of maybe shorten the break time and give them a 5-minute something to say, hey, someone cares about me. Even though I cannot talk to my parents, I can talk to someone. And that's where school becomes home, or you know that you can count on someone, or you can confide on someone.
So that's really personalizing education and finding out where the student is, number one, and then putting together almost an individualized IEP for each student that will get them through that curriculum at their pace, which they can handle throughout the year.
Whether they are the valedictorian of a class of 2000, or if they're just trying to please let me graduate this year, they need somebody that is there to hold their hand and help them say, we can do this, we're going to get through this.
The graduation rates in Putnam County have really come up. We're around 93% right now for a district, which is pretty good. We have plans in place to be able to continue to increase that, and I think Vital has played a key role in those increasing graduation rates, and really the way that high school principals are using the Vital program within their schools has really helped increase their graduation rates across the board in Putnam County. For the Vital program in Putnam County, and Vital stands for Virtual Instruction to Accentuate Learning, the program really begins with some implementations that we've had in elementary schools across the district in Putnam County, and it is completely online. So it gives our students in Putnam County at that young age to really understand what it's like to be a digital learner, and will create other opportunities as they climb the K-12 ladder in Putnam County. And Vital actually reaches out to all the schools in Putnam County. So we are a K-12 school in the state of Tennessee. We have our own number just like any other school, but the way it works in Putnam County for our virtual school is we outreach to all the schools in our district with all of these outside the box opportunities for the students of Putnam County and beyond. One of the components of Vital I'm most excited about, which is our dual credit and dual enrollment offerings that we have in high school. It could be a student that wants to gain certificates along the way, and the opportunities that exist for certificates nowadays are pretty incredible. Some students in high school can walk out of high school with a certificate and walk right into a very good paying job.
We have an annual 8th grade career fair that we host at Tennessee Tech, where we bring employers to the table as speakers and as booth sponsors, talking to students about a wide variety of careers that exist in the Upper Cumberland. And so that's another opportunity to make sure that we have the right people in front of students. They can share and talk with the students about the things they need to be doing now while they're in school, and as they think about moving into high school, and get them to think about what they might want to study when they move into high school. So it preps them for thinking about, what program of study do I want to take when I go into high school?
The Putnam County school system has approximately 11,300 students in our district as of right now. That's a number that continually goes up every year. I don't think that's going to back off from that. I think we're going to continue with our population gains as time goes on. The Vital program itself serves between 750 to 1,000 students every 9-week period. So we're hitting between 3,000 and 4,000 classes every year for the students of Putnam County in these options that exist through the Vital program. Another component of the Vital program would be our blended learning implementation throughout the district. And what blended learning is, it gives the teacher the opportunity to bring technology into their classroom and really use technology as a way to move students on a daily basis. Technology gives these teachers opportunities to really be facilitators of that learning and really personalize education down to an individual basis with students in their classroom. And that's why blended learning and personalization of learning is going to be so important to our district and other districts and really as a nation as we go forward, is because it gives us the ability to do things that we were not ever able to do in the past. Credit recovery was really the first digital use of curriculum in any schools anywhere. And the feedback that we got from credit recovery really gave us the ability to move forward with offering initial credit classes, new credit classes, digitally.
I had a student come in my room today, and nobody in their family had ever graduated from high school. And this person's going to graduate a whole year early from high school, which is amazing. And that is because they've been able to take their education into their own hands. And now at night and on the weekends and during break, they can get online. And these things that they're doing online and working through their curriculum, when their friends are playing Call of Duty right next to them, all of a sudden they're doing chemistry.
Mr. Boyd, my director, says it best. He really believes that we're at a tipping point with technology in Putnam County. Teachers are really begging for it. The Vital office does, well, actually last year we did over 50 Google trainings for teachers in schools in Putnam County last year. And from that, classrooms have really grown in the use of Chromebooks, the use of Google tools and apps for education. And it's amazing to walk into some of these classrooms right now and see what teachers are doing just after a year of training.
In Teens Needs Training, we try to partner with Tennessee Tech. A lot of students come down. We're right down the street from Tech, which is absolutely awesome, and a lot of students need volunteer hours or service hours. So students can come down and help tutor children. We have a huge focus on grades and truancy. So students are able to come and get their hours in, but also help our children stay on task at school.
We developed a strong workforce development and education program of work, asking all of our stakeholders from K through 12, post-secondary education, and employers to come to the table to collaborate with one another to develop programs that would make sure we're actually preparing students and our citizens for the jobs in our region. And that meant aligning education with the needs of employers.
I also try to focus on job training. We've had a few businesses that have come in, banks come in and talk to children about managing their money. One bank, for instance, came in and pulled up a website where the children showed what kind of car they wanted to drive, what kind of house they wanted to live in, you know, are you going to have a cell phone, Netflix, and it plugged all of these things in, and then it showed them how much this is going to cost and some jobs, some occupations that you may choose if this is the lifestyle that you want to have. And it's my goal to let these kids know that they can do any job that they see on that board. So we also, during the summer, make a big deal of taking them out into the public and taking them into places and letting them see what goes on inside the places, but also familiarizing the public with my children and letting them know that we are from public housing, and we do want to work, and we do want to go to school and remember our name.
We don't want anyone to drop out of school. Plus, it's a huge impact to our local economy. But at the end of it all, these two things are tied together. Economic development cannot be successful without workforce development.
You know, I'm hoping that when these kids go out and they put on their application Teens Needs Training, that they're going to say, that's that group that came in here, and I remember those kids. We were blessed to be able to go out to Tech on campus. We visited the WCTE sites. We were able to let the kids film their own little role, and they did much better than I'm doing. I do think they were awesome. We also visited Averett Express, and one thing that is a big deal to me is letting the kids know not everyone's going to go to a 4-year college, but there are so many other things.
Early in the process of planning the Pathways to Prosperity initiatives, we made a determination that we would begin the process with 2 pathways. We chose advanced manufacturing and health sciences predominantly because the labor market data indicated that those are the 2 areas of greatest growth in the Upper Cumberland region. And so with that being said, it was important to bring employers from advanced manufacturing and from health science to the table to help us look at the curricula that exist in the K through 12 system and determine what's missing and what needed to be added to meet their needs.
There's trade schools that you can go to. Ladies, if they want to go to cosmetology, I don't care what they do, just be the best at it and do something. There's a job out there for each and every one of them, and whatever we can do on our end to get them to that job, then that is our goal.
So we have a variety of programs that we began with middle school students, focusing on the kinds of things that we need to do in collaboration to make sure that they understand what it takes to be successful in life.
We also try to take the kids out to meetings at if there's something going on at the high school and maybe it's a single parent that is at work and they can't go to that meeting. We will pick the kids up and we will take them. I know there's plenty of Tennessee Promise meetings that are coming up. We're scheduled to take our seniors out to this meeting so that they can get the information, they can take it home to the parents. If the parents don't understand, they can come to my office. We have computers there that we can help them fill out applications for school. We can walk them through signing up for FAFSA. We've had a parent that didn't understand why they needed her information, why did they need my Social Security. You know, she didn't go on to school, so she wanted to know why they needed that information from her. So we try to be a buffer for that information too, so that a kid isn't held back because a parent is afraid of the newness of the internet, you know, putting your information into this computer and who's going to get that.
We have another young man that works at one of the local pharmacies. They actually gave him a job from our program, and they're working with him. They are helping him get a car. He's going to Nashville Tech and will go to Tennessee Tech after a year or so.
And to be successful in economic development, you have to have the workforce with the skills to meet the needs of existing employers as well as new employers that you're trying to attract to town. And to have a program without a strong workforce development and education program cannot be successful. We have been successful in acquiring new industry as a result of our strong workforce development and education programs of work. They know that we have collaboration among our stakeholders to ensure that we are taking the appropriate action to prepare our students for the jobs that exist in the region.
We can really start to build a very strong community, and I'm so excited to be raising my child in a community that is doing that is actively seeking to be better.
This program is a part of American Graduate. Let's make it happen. A public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hey, it's Lee Ray with WCTE Upper Cumberland PBS and with the WCTE American Graduate Project. We're going across the Upper Cumberland to hear stories of our high school kids telling us what's important to them in life, where they're going, and the challenges they've overcome, and talking to some teachers. Listen to some of their stories. It's going to touch your heart.
As a senior, me looking back through all 4 years, junior year has to be the most difficult year. With all the schoolwork and including family, parents splitting up and everything, junior year was most troubling, but every day I look to God to let Him lead me and get me through the day.
Normally if I wake up and I'm just not really feeling like going to school and, you know, being like an actual person that day, typically just turn on some really upbeat music, kind of get ready to something that makes me feel better, and just take the time to try to reflect positively on it instead of dwelling on the negatives.
I've had one big setback in my life. 6 years ago, I was in a coma for 17 days at UT Hospital. I lost brain tissue. When I got back to school my 5th grade year, everyone was real supportive, helped me if anything I needed. I caught on pretty quick, always have. Just got my grades back up, and I've been an honor student ever since. I got valedictorian my 8th grade year, and I'm in the lead for valedictorian my junior year in high school.
I
suffer a very rare impediment, and I don't let anything people say about it bring me down, because why? I have gotten used to it over the years, and somehow it's the impediment that makes me stand out from them, right from everyone else.
I know at our school, if there's one thing that unites our faculty, it's that compassion for students. We don't want them to be struggling. You know, you can't teach the mind if the body is in turmoil, and we're not going to let somebody sit in a classroom if we know they're in need. We're going to take care of that first.
Just this week, I had a student that started MTSU just this week, and he's in a computer class. And he called me and he thanked me for the things that we did in class, because he felt like he was really prepared and actually finished his assignment quicker than was expected. And he just was so excited about that. So it's just those little comments that I get from past students that sometimes during the day it doesn't feel like it's going to make a difference, but in the end it really does.
Be yourself. Have courage, because if you don't try and be yourself, you are not going to get anywhere in life. You have to show everyone how different you are, how unique you are. No matter what life throws at them, you can handle it.